From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, world. Here we are back again. It's the one and only Pop CBB PrimeTime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling the same. Let's go ahead and jump into our final thoughts on this CBB. Final thoughts on Super Bowl 57, not Super 57, Super Bowl 57. But where does it line up in the greatest bowl games of all time? I would say that if we already can consider it the best bowl of the 2020s, I guess we're already 4 bowls into the 2020s. So I would say that's probably the best bowl of the 2020s. Now, overall, it's top 10. Let's keep it real. It was a great game. The reason why it does factor into being a top 10 Super Bowl all time, there was a double-digit lead that was lost. Okay, that's one. We also had a lot of records broken in this game. Jalen Hurts ran for the most yards ever for a quarterback. Also, he scored 3 touchdowns in this game as well, too. That was a record. The longest punt return as well, too, for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. There was just a lot. There was records broken in this game, but Jalen Hurts literally could have been the MVP of this game. It's just every time I look at the numbers, it's like he played the game of his life, and it's like you look at the numbers and say he should be holding up the Lombardi and he should be holding up the MVP, but none of that happened. Okay, so I think that at the end of the day, when you look at this one, they'll probably be calling for a rematch next year from these two teams. I think that they both deserve it. I know that the way that they have them set up right now for the odds and everything, these two teams are the favorites for today. But we got to get into free agency and things like that, and then that will actually tell us the story on who is going to be a team that we can follow here for next year. But it's going to be wide open. I would say that the Bills will probably be back in the driver's seat as one of the top 5 teams next year. Same thing goes for the Bengals. If they're not seen as a team that actually is going to be like maybe one of the early favorites as well, but they know that they have some things to do with the money as well too. So they know that there's some things that they have to fix on their end. Kansas City, though, does look like the team that's just going to be able to be either in this conference championship game or in the Super Bowl for the next coming years, as long as Andy Reid is their head coach, in my opinion. I think that the Chiefs really did go ahead and win this Super Bowl and get everybody's attention somewhat in respect from this one as well, too. I truly do feel that they really did step into a rare group of great teams that went ahead and finished the job. That's exactly what they did. They really had the whole world against them at the end of the day. The Eagles played the best they possibly could. There's nothing wrong with what happened with the Eagles. It's just an unfortunate situation that they just did not have the ball in the last 5 minutes of the game. If either team has the ball here in the last 5 minutes of the game, they're doing the same exact thing. They're trying to make sure the next team doesn't get that ball back, because both these quarterbacks were very capable of winning these games with the 2-minute warning. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, combined for the youngest quarterbacks ever to play in this game, a combined age of 51 years and 233 days. That was the youngest pair ever to play in that game. And the way that they performed in that game just shows you where the NFL future is going. Guys who are within their first 4 or 5 years in the league will probably be the guys that will be playing in the Super Bowl. This thing about guys staying in a decade before they get to their first bowl probably won't be happening anytime soon. And I truly do feel like there were some stars born in this game. I think that Isaiah Pacheco, big time. I know I can't stop talking about him, but I think that he was a star was born in that right with him. Also with Sky Moore as well too. I think moving forward, these guys are going to be big time players for the Chiefs moving forward. Big time players for Patrick Mahomes as well too. Juju gets the unsung hero award from me as well, because how good he was on that final drive of getting open and being ready for the moment. But the biggest reward goes to that Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. They held the best front seven in football to no sacks at all, and literally made those guys suck wind there in the last quarter of that game, because that's how hard they were hitting. The Chiefs never got down on themselves in this game. They were down 10 points and everybody was already ready to go ahead and sign their obituary. But that did not happen. And so this Super Bowl does live up to the all-time great Super Bowls. Is it the number one? No. Is it a number five? No. But it's somewhere over there 6 through 10, in my opinion. I think that if there were more yards thrown by Patrick Mahomes, it might be up a little bit higher. But Patrick Mahomes did everything possible that he could do and that he could muster. That's another tip in your cap to this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Yes, they gave up 38 points, but they didn't give up much yardage. The Chiefs needed a big punt return, and they needed a scoop and score to really be in this game. Other than that, they had to have very long drives that turned into touchdowns and field goals. So this game was by far the hardest game that they played all season, and they really did step up to the plate. The Eagles, all in all, didn't know that they were dealing with the hardest game of the season until it was too late, because it felt like it was just another day, another Eagles game where they were going to dominate. So there it is. Those are my final thoughts on a beautiful Super Bowl down in the beautiful state of Arizona and in Glendale, of all places. And man, Vegas, we'll see you next year for Super Bowl 58. But before then, we'll have a whole bunch of great games going on that we'll be breaking down to the very last compound. So let's go ahead and move forward and talk about Derek Carr being released today by the Raiders. Derek Carr is doing Raiders no favor. Will test free agency instead of being traded. Where does he land? All right, let's go ahead and give out the first option. Now, if it was me as his agent, anything like that, I don't care what they're offering. We're going to New Orleans, because the thing is, when you play for a team like New Orleans gives you a very good roster. You got Alvin Kamara. You got Christopher Olave. Michael Thomas is possibly coming back as well too. You got a good tight end system. But the thing that you do have at the end of the day is a defense. That's exactly what you have when it comes down to the Saints. The Saints, to me, are the best fit for Derek Carr, simply because this team at one point was very, very, favorable for the playoffs until the final few weeks of the season. Now, it was really because they didn't have a quarterback. That's what kept them kind of out of the loop a little bit. But all in all, I still think that the Saints are the fit. They're the team that took them out to dinner as well too. They had a great talk. I think that when it comes down to it, I think Dennis Allen, honestly, Dennis Allen the Dennis Allen becomes the Dennis Allen is sorry about that. Somebody's calling me. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm about to hit it. We'll be back.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for. And
all right, we're back. I just had to go ahead and throw a quick commercial out there real quick. But all in all, Dennis Allen and Derek Carr will have the best reunion that anybody could have when it comes down to these to a quarterback and a coach. You have to understand, when Derek was a rookie in the NFL, he was drafted by the Raiders with Dennis Allen as the coach. Dennis Allen had visions of him and Derek being this young duo quarterback coach that will be able to take over and do some big things in the NFL. What happened was the Raiders got off to an 0-8 start, and the Raiders wound up firing Dennis Allen because of a fans just were just tired of it. They just felt that he wasn't the right coach. He wasn't the right guy for the job, and Reggie McKenzie failed in this position of who he picked as the coach. But Dennis Allen was brought in to do a job so the Raiders could be absolutely, in a remodeling phase that did help them bring in Derek Carr, helped them bring in Khalil Mack, and also helped them bring in Amari Cooper. These guys became the core of the Raiders moving forward and actually were able to hit right away. I always feel that Dennis Allen should have had more time because the Raiders were designated not to win. And that's exactly what they said. They wanted to go ahead and grow with the young coach and then figure out and build a system there. They went ahead and went against their plan a little bit, and now they can go ahead and Derek and Dennis can go ahead and reunite now and put themselves in position to have themselves become those guys. So, in my bold opinion, I really do feel like him heading to the Saints is the best call, but we'll have to see because Derek's going to take his time. From what I'm hearing and from what has been said to me, that Derek is not going to rush into who he's going to be the quarterback for. You know what I mean? He has the Saints as an option. He also has the Buccaneers as an option as well, too, because they're sitting here with no quarterback. They can get a little desperate. They don't have a top 10 pick this year as well. And he's killed the Buccaneers a few times down there in Tampa Bay. I know everybody remembers the game he threw for over 500 yards. That game was in Tampa. So I think that the weather would be nice for him, and I think that they probably do have the best defense moving forward if this defense is able to stay intact. But we all know Tampa Bay has the tendency of bringing in the right players. Now, the Jets, to me, are the long shot. The Jets are now in the business of going after Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But they have a lot of options on the table right now, the Jets. I think that the Jets, at first, they were a little excited about Derek Carr, but I think all in all, they much rather have a quarterback that can help them get over the top immediately. Derek Carr, I don't know if he's ready for the cold weather and all that good stuff, but I know the Jets are a very attractive team for him as well, too. But the Jets are on the list. I will go ahead and I will put the whole NFC South literally on this list right now for Derek Carr. My teams outside of the NFC South, I'm going to give you two teams that you guys probably have not even thought about for the services of Derek Carr. The Titans and the Seahawks. I say the Titans because you have Ryan Tannehill, who literally is on his last legs as a starter in this league, really as a player in this league. I think that he's close to retirement in the next few seasons, if not this offseason. Ryan is just not the same player anymore. And I think that the best bet for the Titans is to move on and possibly bring in Derek Carr to go ahead and be with this unit. And then you'll have another great running back in Derrick Henry right behind him. So that should be able to be something that works out pretty good for the Titans if they want to go and do that. And then Pete Carroll would be able to get Derek Carr, a guy he's admired for a while. And Derek Carr would inherit DK Metcalf and Lockett as well, too. So those are two primetime receivers that will put Seattle right in position to be one of the better teams in not just the NFC West, but in the NFC let alone. And I know after the performance Derek had last year in Seattle, they are very interested in possibly bringing him in there as well, too, to be another stopgap quarterback before they actually get their quarterback of the future. So I think those five we have one division that he can go address and talk to everybody there. And then you got the Jets, and then you got these two dark horse teams, and I would say the Seahawks and the Titans. So that would be 7 teams. 7 teams that he can choose from right now that I see on the board that need a quarterback and need an immediate quarterback as well too. And if you want to say, a team that might be the darkest horse of them all, think about the LA Rams, because the LA Rams have not said anything about sticking with Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is still a liability. And is he going to be back? Is he going to be a feasible quarterback? That's the biggest question. And I think that if you get Derek Carr to a Sean McVay, they can save both of their butts at the end of the day. But Rams are the darkest of the horses, because nobody's talking about this, but the Rams probably are looking into bringing in a new quarterback, because Matt Stafford is literally done, in my opinion. I truly do feel like you're not going to get anything great out of Stafford anymore. He's already won a ring. He has a broken back. Why are you still paying this man $25-30 million a season? There's no reason to do that. I know he was really good a few years ago, but he's not even better than Jared Goff right now, and hasn't been better than Jared Goff. So I think you need to play this thing smart and pretty much see and weigh your options. So I would say Derek Carr has 7 to 8 teams that he could possibly play for at this moment as well too. And then I'm just talking about dark horses. Possibly you could say, since they want to get rid of him so bad, the Cowboys might make a phone call as well too. Maybe bring him in as a backup. But Derek's not going anywhere as a backup. I truly do feel like those 8 teams I just named are the teams that he can start on. 7 of them for sure. And I know, though, the best option for him right now, the one where he doesn't lose any sweat and doesn't have to worry about them bringing anybody in to challenge him, is in New Orleans. Now, Tampa Bay, they'll probably want to bring in another quarterback because they're thinking about their future. Same thing goes for the Panthers. Same thing goes for Atlanta. But Atlanta has to get a little desperate, in my opinion. But Atlanta does. Just think about it. Atlanta would love to have Derek Carr there. It's a dome. They play in a dome, so it would work out pretty good for him, because Derek Carr is really good in dome. So, that's that. You have that. But I think, though, the Jets are really just a great idea. They were the team that you thought of it at first, but no, I don't think the Jets are the fit. I don't think that he goes there. I would much rather see him be courted by the Giants, who aren't going to do that. They're going to sign Daniel Jones to an extensive deal. And then, when the 2 other teams that I named, those are probably your best options if you really want to get to winning right away, the Titans and the Seahawks. But he would have to compete for those jobs. The Seahawks would probably bring in a rookie quarterback. The Titans would probably have him go against Malik. So, I truly do feel like those 2 teams can be teams that come out of the woodworks, but he's going to have to earn those 2 jobs. But I think that the fit will be the New Orleans Saints. Now, let's go ahead and jump into Rodgers. What's the better fit for Aaron Rodgers, the Jets or the Raiders? I would say right now it would be the Raiders, because he has a coach in Josh McDaniels that does know how to coach the veterans very well. And it would be like having Tom Brady all over again, where you have a guy that's a real student of the game, and you can go ahead and you guys can dial up some pretty great plays, and you won't have to dummy down the offense or oversell the play to him, as if, from what you hear with the issues that he had with Derek Carr. Now, he would have a running game as well, too, if they keep Josh Jacobs around, which they plan on doing. I think Josh Jacobs will wind up being franchised, or they'll figure out a way to where they put him on an incentive-laden deal that gives him a lot of upfront money. So that's what I'm thinking of when they about keeping Josh Jacobs and trying to have Josh Jacobs still there as your head, as your cowbell there at the running back position. Then you got Devontae Adams. That would be a great reunion. You got Mac Hollins as well, too, a really good player. You also have a guy that he would love having in Renfro. So, I don't know what the deal is for Waller. I would be moving Waller if I'm the Raiders, because he is an asset. And you can get some draft picks for him as well too. So I would think that he would be on the move, because there's a lot of tight end free agents this year that the Raiders can target that are cheaper options that will probably be a little bit more valuable to the team at this point. I think that the Raiders' biggest need is picking up a middle linebacker and another pass rusher and somebody that and a really good back end player. The Raiders really put themselves in a bad spot by chasing a quarterback this offseason when they already had a quarterback. So I think the only thing they can do right now is upgrade. I know that a lot of people want to see them draft somebody and move from there. Now, if they were to bring in Aaron Rodgers, I would say to still draft somebody, but they wouldn't be a top 10 pick. And I would say this. You guys would go out there, Hendon Hooker, the kid from Tennessee. Yes, he blew his knee out, but this would be good to bring him in because then you would have a guy that he's already hurt, so you don't have to worry about him actually playing this year. He can actually be put on the practice squad for this season and learn the offense. And then you tell yourself that we're in a short-term situation with Aaron Rodgers, and this guy should be starting for us within the next 2 years because Aaron Rodgers, it would not be a long-term option for the Raiders. So I would think that that's what they would be looking at. But I think the best bet for Rodgers right now, if he wanted to go ahead and be on a team where he can actually have it to where he's not going to be questioned as much as he'll be questioned in Las Vegas, the Jets are the perfect fit. Salah needs a guy just like this to play the quarterback position so he can worry about everything else that's going on the field. I felt like that he's a coach that absolutely tries to give his offensive coordinators and everybody else the free ride to go ahead and coach their position players because he is a coordinator at the end of the day. But all in all, though, the guy truly does want to win these games. And I think that what happens here is that you bring in a Rodgers. Rodgers can really orchestrate your offense, but you still deal with the Brett Favre effect as well, too, where a guy is going to act like whatever he has done over the years is gold compared to what you guys are doing because you're just not that good. So I truly do think that it could be a conflict of interest going to the Jets, but Jets or Raiders seem like it's a good fit for Aaron Rodgers. And when you look at, say, a team that's in contention right now, even though he won't go there, San Francisco is like the team that you think of that he could go to. But this Rodgers in San Francisco has been a talk for the last 4 years, and it's still nothing happening with it. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And these will be the only teams I could see Aaron Rodgers trying to go to, or they could try to do a straight up trade with the Giants and send him there. But I truly don't think that either one of these teams want to deal with the headache of Aaron Rodgers. So I truly, if it's up to me, then if I'm these two teams owners, I say no. I'm okay because Aaron Rodgers is regressing, and I would feel that Aaron Rodgers would be better off finishing his career with the Green Bay Packers or retiring because he's already committed himself to their franchise, so he needs to finish out his commitment to their franchise at this point because Green Bay is not that bad of a team. They barely missed the playoffs. I think that's all they're talking about. Aaron Rodgers just wants some attention. I don't really see him going anywhere because he's too valuable to the Packers and the Packers are too valuable to him. They've been good to him over all these years. He's been good to them. They have a happy marriage regardless of how people try to spin it, but they're good to go. They've always done exactly what Aaron's asked, and he's just getting old, and everybody wants to see him at least play in one more Super Bowl before it's all said and done, which will probably be happening next season. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Aaron Rodgers is a fit neither for the Jets or the Raiders, in my honest opinion. All right, so we have the Alabama boys that are up here as the number one team in the nation right now, finally. Is it accurate or another overhype? I think that it is very accurate that they have these guys as the number one team in the nation. You have an Alabama team, and I know Jeff got on my case earlier about it, but they did beat a number one North Carolina this year. They also beat a number one Houston this year at Houston as well. North Carolina was on neutral territory, but this was at home. So pretty much at the end of the day, I truly do feel that Alabama is going to be a very, very good team. So they are number one in the nation, what much deserved. But will they get cocky and cute over this? Yes, they will. And guess what? They give them the number one team in the nation mantra, but they're playing against, of all teams to start this week, Tennessee, the team that was number two in the nation last week. And Tennessee, a little bit of slippage for Tennessee because they lost 2 1-point games. It's dropped them to the number 10 team in the nation, but they're back at home. They came off of a bad loss, and Alabama just you look at this. Alabama's won 4 in a row, but they had a really bad loss against Oklahoma. Okay, so you look at them and say they might not be that great out of the conference this year because they got smoked by UConn as well too. So they have one loss in conference play. That's about, well, actually they're undefeated. So all their losses are outside the conference, and I just named their 3 losses. UConn beat them by 15. Oklahoma beat them by 24, and then they got beat by 10 by Gonzaga. So this team is a team that literally will you can blow them away if the game is right. But Alabama is a team that has a lot of veteran players as well too. They've played great basketball over the last few years as well, and Coach Oates is really ready to reap the benefits this season. Are they a Final Four team? I think so, to be honest with you. And I think that they are very, very they're a team that's very, very live when it comes to betting somebody to win the national championship. But as me and Jeff talked about, there's 15 teams that could hoist up the national title this year, and some of them aren't even ranked. It's just how good the NCAA has been this season. So when I truly do look at it, I still say to myself that UCLA looms the biggest danger. They're 21-4. They haven't been the number 1 team in the nation at all this year, but they've showed the most dominant defensive efforts all season long. Still undefeated at home as well too, and they're dominating teams this year. And all 4 and 2 of their losses came in Vegas on early in the season, and 2 of their losses came in a row when they lost to 2 arch rivals in Arizona and USC. So UCLA, other than that, has been very good. They're playing the best defense in the nation. The only thing that kills you about UCLA is that sometimes they have some issues scoring, and that happens when you're a high-end defensive team. That happens because you trade defense for offense a lot. But UCLA, I feel like they're going to hit their groove at the right time. It seems like it's inevitable that they're going to hit their groove at the right time. So them being number 4 in the nation, I feel like they'll be next up to be the number 1 team in the nation if Alabama is to lose at any point this week, because they got to give them the opportunity as well too. But if not, Houston will probably move into that spot for the 3rd time this season, and we understand why. Houston is a very, very good team. So at the end of the day, Houston is seen as the best team in the nation. So it's understandable because they have all the grown-ups playing for them. They team average 21 and up. They don't have kids on Houston. So, Houston's going to get a lot of love because they got a lot of older guys, but that means absolutely nothing at the end of the day. I think that we have a wide open NCAA, and I think we're up for a lot of fun here. So pretty much with that, you guys, I'll be right back in a few, and we'll go over the state of the Lakers, and we'll also go over the NBA Tuesday night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Cappers.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. Time for the Grease at Grease. All right, sorry about that. I had to send that text off. But let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. We got some good things going on with the Lakers. Let me stop. I'm just being positive. It's bad right now, man. We got to be better. Literally, the Lakers got to be better, dude. I'm sorry, because it's starting to get a little too close to call. Like, we have ourselves a situation where we can put ourselves in position to be in the playoffs. But the Lakers really are spending a lot of time just twiddling thumbs, man. Now they're 2.5 games back from Utah, and they really need to get on the ball, man, because that's the 10 spot. They're sitting in the 13 spot. They're only better than San Antonio and Houston. Luckily, San Antonio and Houston have not even came near winning 20 games yet this season. So they have a big disparity. But once again, the Lakers are still in a good spot because at the end of the day, they're only 5 games out of the 4 spot. They're only 4.5 games out of the 5 and 6 spot. They're only 4 games out of 7 and 8. And they're only 3.5 games out of the 9 spot. And then, as I said before, for the last play-in spot, they're only 2.5 games out of that spot. So, the Lakers are in position right now to get exactly where they need to get to. But these 32 losses are the bugaboo and the killer right now. But the Lakers, if they finish this month even, if they just finish the month even, that means they need to win their next 3 out of 4. If they finish this thing up 29 and 33, I would feel they're in better position right now to really make their move. But I'm looking at the Lakers' last 2 months of the season, and their schedule opens up to where there's no excuse of them winning. Okay, they literally open up the first game at Oklahoma City. That should be a win. And then they have 5 games at home with Toronto and New York included, Minnesota as well too. You don't know which Minnesota team is going to be showing up that night. Seems like they have a little bit of a advantage over the Warriors. And then you have Memphis as well too, who probably be looking for some revenge. But the Lakers have already beat them this year as well too. Then you got a back-to-back against New Orleans and Houston. You can't lose. You can't even think about losing the Houston game. And then you have 5 more home games as well too this next month. You have 10 games at home, 5, and they're all in a row, pretty much. Out the 5 road games that you have 2 of them that where you get a little bit of time off. You're not going to be on the road that much next month. It's going to be more in LA. So I feel like if they can win these 10 games, I know it sounds crazy. If they can win these 10 home games, they'll be right in position, and they'll probably be the 8th seed by then. So I think that they need to worry about winning these home games and splitting these road games. So they'll have 5 on the road, and I feel like you can win this Houston game, you can win the Chicago game, and you can easily win the Minnesota game as well too on the road. Oklahoma City, that's a must-win situation. So the Lakers are really in a rough spot right now. It's time to stop. We're looking if LeBron's going to play tonight and all that extra stuff. They've brought in D'Angelo Russell. They brought in Malik Beasley. They brought in Mo Bamba. They brought in Vanderbilt. These guys are supposed to be able to play basketball. They got rid of a really good player in Russ. I know you guys were very frustrated with Russ, but Russ is not the problem. The problem is that the Lakers don't have a good coach. The coach didn't know how to coexist with Russ. He didn't know how to really challenge Russ to be a better player without physically trying to challenge him. So that's a problem in itself. So I think at the end of the day, you should be putting Darvin Ham on the hot seat, because if the Lakers had another voice that stepped in already this year, this would have already been fixed, in my opinion. I just truly feel that the Lakers, either they want to make the playoffs or they trying to figure out a way to have a top 10 pick this year. But I don't think LeBron's here signed up for that. So the Lakers will have to give it a go here. They have 20 games, to me, that they have to prove themselves with, because you're not getting a lot of games in April. You're getting 4 or 5 games in April, and then your season is over. The Lakers have already played 58 games. You only play 82 games. So they have 24 games left. All right. So 15 of them are going to be played in March. So they really do need to step it up. It would be great if they won the next 3 out of 4. They would be able to finish this month 3-2. Going out this month for 3-2, where they will be 5-5. And then you should put that into fruition. They have a winning month next month. Now they're in play, because it's going to get tough for a lot of these teams here at the bottom. But just because the West is not that far apart, everybody has a chance from 3 to 13. Literally, there's going to be a team that's probably sitting in the top 6 right now that's not going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. Not Memphis or Denver, but the others. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. All in all, I think Hachimura is starting to play really good basketball. I think that D'Angelo Russell is going to be a godsend for AD as well, too. Another guy that's going to be able to pass him the ball, and another guy that is a high volume scorer as well. And I think Hachimura is going to actually start being a big 3 type of player, and LeBron can come in and just compliment guys. I don't think that we need to put that much pressure on LeBron, because we have more than capable players who can get their 20 as well, too. So the Lakers, once you get this lineup in full and intact, I think the Lakers are in good shape, to be honest with you. They just got to get over this All-Star break, and I think the Lakers are good to go. I truly do feel like that's exactly what the doctor ordered. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into our NBA Tuesday night. We got 5 games in the NBA tonight. We got some really good games as well, too. Pretty much we have ourselves the Bucks and the Celtics tonight. The Bucks and the Celtics come in here. Really, really good game. You got a Celtics team that is 41-16. You have a Bucks team that's 39-17. 9.5 point spread to the Bucks tonight. Over under 222.5. Jeff and I talked about it on the show earlier. The Celtics are dealing with like 6 injuries right now, and Tatum and Brown are very doubtful on playing in this game tonight. This is a big game, but at the end of the day, the Celtics are very comfortable on where they're at. So the Celtics aren't in a rush to play this game. Even though they're only 2 game and a half ahead for their spot, they're very confident in themselves that they'll finish with the number 1 spot this year. I feel that the Celtics know that, they got to get a little bit of rest. And Milwaukee is the type of team that's been consistent this year, but they figure out ways to be inconsistent as well, too. This is a game that can be totally overlooked and winds up being a Boston victory. But we do have a Bucks team that has started off the first 5 games this month with the 5-game winning streak, to add on to the 5 games they won to in the month of January. This team has actually won their last 12 out of 13 games as well, too. They're playing absolutely dominant basketball at this point. Giannis is in his bag right now, absolutely crushing the game with 32.4 a night. He's possibly looking at his 3rd MVP trophy as well, too, if Jokic doesn't get hurt at any point. And then you got Drew Holiday, who's almost getting 20 points a night as well, too. And then you get big effort from Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez. So this team is still looking like a machine. from years ago, and possibly they can go ahead and get back to the finals this year. It's between these two, and Philly is the dark horse because the Nets pretty much took themselves out of the running to be a title contender this year by getting rid of KD and Kyrie. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into under the radar game with the Magic and the Raptors. The Raptors come into this game with a record of 27-31. We have Magic with the 24-34. You also have 7.5 to Toronto, 7.5 to the Raptors tonight. You also have an over under of 221.5. They this is an under the radar game, but it's a game that you do have to take a little seriously though with Orlando, because Orlando has been playing really good basketball throughout the last month or so. They've won their last 2 out of 3 as well. They got a good win over Chicago. Did fall short against the rival Miami, but they got probably their best win of the month against the best team in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets. They beat them by 11. They also got a good win over Minnesota as well, too, who's actually playing really good basketball at this point. So Orlando is sitting in good shape right now. They're 4-3 this month as well. They're still working on it in a sense. They're just figuring out how to win basketball games. Even though Orlando probably isn't going to make the playoffs, they are 3 games out of the play-in. And I know that they're using it kind of as a confidence booster that possibly that they can make the playoffs. But, they're right there in the mix, man. And that's what you can be proud about with this team, is that they're only so far out. They're 2.5 games out of the 10 spot, but they're also 3.5 games out. 3 games out. And 2.5 games out of the 11 spot. So they're only so far behind Chicago and Indiana. But this team knows what's up. They know that they weren't really seen as a playoff team, but this does make them more confident going into next season. And man, they got a lot of good talent over there, and they were able to make some trades and still got a lot of good talent over there as well too. So if you're an old man, they're probably cutting you right now, and they're just keeping them young and fresh. But I think that the Magic have the right idea. They have a great coach down there, and the future's bright in Orlando. The Raptors, on the other hand, the Raptors are in the playoff picture right now. There is it's going to be tough at the end of the day, but I still truly do think that this team does wind up being much better than what their record says, and they do wind up possibly being the 8th seed as well too. You got the Knicks on the outside looking in, but I think the Knicks are going to figure out a way to jump Brooklyn, because Brooklyn's just falling to the wayside. Brooklyn was the 3 seed at one point. Now they're the 5 seed, and they just keep losing. So you have the Knicks right now. Possibly the Knicks and Miami will probably move into these final spots here for the top 6. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Toronto's right there in the mix as well too. They're not too far out for they're 5 games out of that position. But you know how it goes. So there it is. And tonight in that one, I do like the over. So we move on. Let's go ahead and get into the Kings and the Suns. This is a good Pacific Division matchup. You have a very, very, very keen Phoenix team that's worked itself back up to the 4th seed after losing like 11 out of 12 games. But it didn't matter because they came back around and they had a pretty good February to end the month, where they did wind up winning 6 out of 7 after dropping 7 out of 8. So you see, it was a tale of 2 stories with last month. So pretty much that team bounced back in a big way. And then right now they're sitting 4-2 for this month, and they've won their last 4 out of 5 as well. So this team is feeling good about themselves moving forward. And this was on a road trip, and that's where their struggles came at, was on the road. So they've bounced back from that. That's why they were able to make this deal, go all in for KD. And they're trying to win a championship now, because if they don't get it now, this thing is getting blown up here in Phoenix. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it shakes out. But this is the Kings, though. Sorry, y'all. It's not the Warriors. It's the Kings. So pretty much let me flip that up for you guys real quick, because I don't like to see sloppy work like that. But the Kings are in shape right now. They've actually given this team some fits this year. Let's keep it real. They've given them a couple of little fits this year. They are the 3rd seed as well in the Western Conference playoffs, the Kings. So they are looking to add on to that, but they do know that they have these teams clipping on their heels right now. They play in the toughest division in basketball. When you look at it, yeah, the Lakers are 7 games back, but the Lakers are in this playoff hunt as well, too. Then you have a Warriors team that's only 3.5 games back. Clippers, 2.5 games back. Phoenix, 2 games back. Sacramento is a losing streak away from literally being in last place. So they got to really hold the fort, and they really got to hold it down at this moment in time. So this is a very key game for the Kings tonight because they are going against a team that finds themselves really in a very, very different spot at this point. You know what I mean? They really find themselves in a place where you know what? Sorry about that. This is the right game. So pretty much they find themselves in a spot where they're going against a 31-27 Suns team that's playing better basketball at this point. They're at home. So this is a tough game for this team, all in all, in my opinion. I think that this one will wind up being a game that finds itself going back and forth, to be honest. I think that the Suns are in position to do it big, and, they haven't been home in a week, but they don't have KD playing. That's one thing that they don't have going for them tonight. They don't have a KD playing in this game tonight, and I just think that all in all that this is exactly what they don't want. You know what I mean? So I truly do feel that this one winds up being a very, very funny game. But I still think what happens here is that the Suns figure out a way to win this game as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move on to the Warriors and the Clippers, who have become one of the funniest rivalries in the league somewhat. You got these two teams that really hate each other. We all know that the Warriors and the Clippers absolutely can't stand each other. And we understand why. Lots of playoff games, lots of playoff series, things like that didn't go people's way. You know what I mean? So, it's just it's something funny. It's something fun. And the Clippers are looking to once again try to get themselves in position to win the Pacific Division because it's wide open, and get a little bit further away from the Warriors because, as I said before, this is literally most of the teams that are in the Western Conference side of the playoffs are in the Pacific Division, and the Lakers are the only team in the division on the outside looking in, so their whole division can make this. And you got the Suns, who are sitting here at the 4 seed, Sacramento's 3 seed, you have the Clippers as the 6 seed, and then you have Golden State kind of scraping along here, but they're the 9 seed right now. They're in a playoff playing position. So the Warriors still loom the danger. I know they don't have Steph tonight, but we all know that the Clippers are the type of team that can fall asleep at the wheel as well, too. But I truly do think that this game winds up being one that, you don't have to overthink this thing. That's the whole thing. You truly don't have to overthink the game. And I really do think that the Warriors can cover the game. I'm not saying they win the game, but I do think that they cover the game. Even though the Clippers are somewhat of a tough home team, they don't cover well at home. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out, but this should be another really good game. All right, here we are with the nightcap of tonight, and that's going to be this game right here, which is going to be the Wizards and the Blazers. The Wizards coming to this one 26-30. The Blazers are 28-29. The spread is going to be -3.5. Over and under is 235.5. So pretty much you have a Wizards team that's going to be really, really into getting this win tonight. They fell short last night against the Warriors. I thought I had them covering, but we missed it by just a little bit. I think tonight against this Blazers team that kind of struggles a little bit, the Lakers, they hit the Lakers really hard to start this game off. That's why they were able to get what they got early, and they were able to get on down the road and get themselves a nice 12-point win. But that didn't mean they were the better team coming into the game. Which happened is that they were just the better. They were just, better that night. So I think that the Blazers literally are not playing to really win games. Last night, the Lakers just didn't have LeBron. If LeBron would have played, probably would have been the difference in a 12-point loss and a 10-point win. So I think that all in all, this will be a type of game that really does work in the Wizards' favor, coming off a back-to-back where they hit 20-some-odd threes last night. They're not going to duplicate that effort. When you shoot so well the night before, usually that does not follow you into the next game. So I think that the Wizards, who've been playing really good basketball here on the West Coast as of late, they go ahead and get themselves a nice win tonight. So I like them with the money line tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And Washington's trying to stay afloat because they're in position as well too to be in the mix. And you got to understand that this team did win 6 in a row going into this month as well too, and 4 of those games were against Western Conference teams. So they have the Western. They've been good on the road against these Western Conference teams. They're actually 4-1 in their last 5. So that's something that you can write home about, that this team is. They're playing really well in these spots. So let's take advantage of that as we move forward to talking tickets. So let's go ahead, jump into talking tickets. No more commercial breaks. So talking tickets, let's go ahead and check it on out. Talking tickets, what do we have here for talking tickets? And talking tickets, we have ourselves the PK6, 63-1. Western Michigan, +11. You got Penn State, +145. You got Providence, -105. You got Mizzou, +7. You also have Pitt, -9.5. And then you also have UNLV, -6. That's single what you like, 63-1. We will see how it goes. We will see how it shakes out. Then we have the CBB DogDay PK4, 77-1. Valpo, money line, +140. EMU, money line, +335. Loyola, Chicago, +170. LSU, money line, +175. 77-1 ticket. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Let's see if we can get ourselves that big boy home. And then we got the 26-1 with the under 225 with the Celtics and the Bucks, the under 221.5 with the Magic and the Raptors. And then we also have the Suns -135, the Warriors +8, the Wizards money line +120. And then we have exactly, 26-1 here. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. This is a really good card. I hope that you guys like it, and I hope that you guys play it. And man, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. All right, so that's talking tickets for you guys today. I thank you guys very much for tuning into the show. You guys are the absolute best. I'll be back tomorrow with more to talk about. We'll have some quick little draft talk and everything like that. What's the best landing spot for Bryce Young and CJ Stroud? What teams really do need them, and what teams can't pass on them who need a quarterback. So, that good stuff. Also, looking at some good college basketball matchups coming up for this week as well, too. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to be talking a little bit of boxing tomorrow as well. So I look forward to it. Another great episode of the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, and it's hosted by the one and only myself, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Gabba. And so pretty much, I got a little tongue tied there. So pretty much with that, I want to thank you guys once again. There is no me without you. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.